I cannot wait to show you the teeny tiny sketchbook that I found for the 100-day project this year. But first, let me tell you how I'm going to be using it to develop a better, more consistent daily art practice. I would love to say that I have a daily art practice and I'm always in my sketchbooks and always have paint flinging around my art room, but that's not the case. I am consistently trying to have that be the case and have a morning practice that I stick to consistently. At this time, with all of my kids, consistency is the furthest thing that I'm able to achieve. The 100-day project gives me an opportunity to work toward that. Last year, I did 100 days of simple collage, where I took 3 or 4 pieces of collage, made little cards on 4x6-inch watercolor paper scraps, and it was a blast. It did take me all the way until last week, so it took me a full year almost to get it done. This year I'm making something a little bit more, well, I'm making choices that are going to get me, I think, farther into the actual practice, but I will be recording them less often because I found that recording them is really the hardest part. I can squeeze art in to little places, but recording it for all of you to see every single thing that I do is where I have the delays because my desk will be messy or I won't be at home or something else. So this year I've made a significant change that I want to show you. Look how cute this little gray notebook is. So the yellow one is about 6 by 8 inches. The little gray one, 3.5 by 5 inches. It is so cute. The brand is, I think it's pronounced Ciak. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Ciak. They're Italian. They're fancier than I need them to be. So they're more expensive than I need them to be. But they're so satisfying. Like the covers are super soft. Anyway, I digress. This is my splurge. This little notebook I've decided is going to help me revolutionize the way I approach my daily art practice. I try to carry around the 6 by 8 notebook wherever I go. So my purse is constantly heavy. I usually take my tins of crayons with me, my Neocolors. I decided that for this year's 100-day project, in order to maximize my chance of success, because that's really what it's all about, I need to make a goal that is extraordinarily achievable. Otherwise, it will not get done. It'll feel like a burden to me. I don't know if that's ADHD, I don't know if that's creativity, I don't know if that's just me personally, but I have to make it easy and fun and something that I want to do and look forward to if it's going to get done. Last year, I loved my 100 days of simple collage that I did, that I mentioned, that I finished last week. The hardest part about that was trying to film every single collage. So I wanted to, it was important to me to do that, but that meant there were many days where my desk was super messy. I couldn't even carve out space for it. So I was like, well, I won't do it today, right? I'll find something other time. So that was hard. This I've decided, because I can, it's so portable, it's so tiny, and I can bring my crayons with me wherever. I'm not going to plan to video every single page that I make. I will probably check in from time to time and show some of the progress. Well, I'll show you the progress. I'll show you what I've made on the pages, but I'm probably not going to do process videos for each entry. I can tell you that I'm not going to. I've already done a couple. I'm not going to do that. But since the 100-day project starts today, February 23rd, 2025, I am just going for it. I did a couple practice rounds to see how it is. I can do it when I watch TV in poorly lit spaces. Thus, again, the not videotaping everything. And I'm making this super doable. And I'm so excited to think about having this whole little notebook full of color and shape and design and just mark making. So I'm using paints right now. I'm feeling fancy. If you're going to use something like this, it's just a notebook. It's not a sketchbook. It does not have paper that's meant to take on water or wet media. I would recommend using some clear plastic or acetate sheets behind each page that you're working on. That's so if you get something that's a little too wet and it soaks through the paper, then if the color is going to bleed behind the page is only going to go 1 page deep. It's only going to go on the back of the page you're working on. So I took some clear pocket folders and just cut 2 rectangles to size so that I can keep the book together and have them travel with me, but it still covers the edges and extends a little bit farther out, just in case. So again, I'm probably not going to have my paints with me, but I did do some neocolor work in the previous pages, and I'm excited because it's these little doable things. Now, I will tell you that yes, I can do art in 5 minutes. Yes, I can do just slosh things on and scribble, and it's so satisfying. But I can also spend a ridiculous amount of time on something so tiny. So that is fine if I choose to spend hours on it, but that's not part of what I'm doing. I'm doing this to make something every day. I'm trying to check the box. I'm not judging what I make, although I certainly will like some of these more than others. But my goal is to check the box, do one thing at least every day, and make it doable. And I feel like I've set myself up very well for this year. Time will tell. I'm sure you guys will keep me honest on this. But it's so much easier for me to take this tiny little notebook with than my 6x8 notebook. Knowing me, I'll probably still bring both because my other one's kind of a notebook as well, where I actually just keep thoughts handy and jot things down. But when I'm home, I can use paintbrushes. I can use paint. When I'm traveling, and by traveling, I mean, waiting to pick my kid up from something, I can sit in my car, get out my crayons, and have something fun. I've brought this to church before. I sit and I listen better when I can do something with my hands and draw something. So when I was at work in the corporate world, I would doodle during conference calls and things. It's the only way I can keep my brain focused. Otherwise, I'm just like wah, 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 like Charlie Brown's mom. So doing something really helps me focus. I'm using gloss medium here to do a couple things. One, I'm setting the Neocolor 2s, which are water soluble, and 2, I'm spreading them around and making it more of a glaze. So it's still a translucent layer. The gloss medium will set the color so that it won't be water soluble, right? It puts a little film of plastic over the top of it, so it's no longer going to be impacted by water. And I'm mixing the Neocolor 1s and 2s. 1s are not water soluble, so they will not bleed if you get them wet. The 2s are water soluble, and I mix and match them sometimes just randomly, and sometimes because I know I want some lines that don't fade away. After I'm done with these, with each one, I will put a layer of gloss medium over the whole thing, each page. And I'm going to do that because I'm using more wet medium. So like the next day, right, if I turn the page and do something else on the next page that has water involved, that could activate the water on the opposite page, the opposite side of the page. So having gloss medium, having things set before then should help a bit. Plus it's just nice. It's nice to not have to worry about having wet hands and flipping through things and having things smear. It'll just fix everything in place as it is so that when I look through the book, things will be consistent. Again, since I'm home and stationary, I do have access to my collage scraps. I don't want to do anything crazy with collage because the book will be so fat by the end of the year. Again, I am planning on finishing this one as well. Now that I know I can finish a 100-day project, I will finish this one. But I did want to have something that was just added on. I think one of the things I should probably work on is doing more deliberate line work and shapes without feeling like things are so conspicuous and strange. Whenever I try to make a shape, it just screams out to me like, Jackie put this here on purpose. And I don't like how that feels when I feel like things are saying that to me. Does anyone else feel that way? Is it just me? It feels very awkward to admit that out loud, but I don't think I'm alone. So sometimes it's fun just to have collage that can fill in the gap there, and it might be an intentional mark that I made a long time ago, but it's not intentional for this specific purpose, so I can try it on, see what it looks like. For me personally, consistency is so hard. It's so hard. A couple things working against me. One, ADHD. The force is strong. The force is strong to find something new and different to do. I get distracted. I just forget about things, even though I really want to do them. I'd completely block it out. So one, I want to keep this thing close to me so it's in front of my face. Additionally, I really want to make it easy enough to keep doing. If I do spend 2 hours every night on one little centerfold here, that is not going to be sustainable for me. I know that. Again, it's going to feel burdensome. I'm going to resent it. I don't know. It's too much. But if I can make this as flexible as humanly possible, again, it's tiny. I can take it with me. I can have my crayons. There's always something I can do just to make something to check the box. So I'm keeping it very much within reach. That's going to help a lot. And every time I turn the page, it can be a completely new thing. So I'm not signing up to do 100 days of birds, which to me, I'm not in a 100 days of anything mindset these days. So I would probably go crazy or just quit. This way, every single page is a new opportunity to do whatever I want. That's the joy of the blank page to me. It doesn't have to tie in with anything. It could be totally different color scheme, totally different materials. It could be all collage one day. It can be all paint the next day. It can be all pen, right? Just ballpoint pen the next day. So there's no rules there. I'm not limiting myself there at all. So the only thing I'm committing to is doing something on these pages every day. At the moment, it feels incredibly doable. I'll keep you posted to see how it feels next week and next month, but I'm feeling really good about it. I am so curious to know what you are doing in 2 different ways. One, if you're doing the 100-day project this year, comment below, let me know what you're doing, what your project is. Please share any hashtags you want to share, because I would love it if we can all follow each other and see what everyone's up to. I think that's pretty awesome. Also, I would love to know what you do to stay consistent in general with your art practice. Do you have signals to yourself? Do you leave your paintbrushes by your morning coffee cup? How do you keep it top of mind, especially if you have ADHD tendencies? How do you not forget about it? It's obviously something you want to do, something I want to do, but I still forget. In the chaos of every morning, something gets lost, and it's usually something that I have on my to-do list that I'm really excited about. Something else that I'm really curious about is I want to know what you would be interested in hearing more from me. That was not grammatically correct. I think you know what I mean. So if I was going to do more bonus material or have a membership of some sort or a community, what would you want to see in that? Would you want to have extra videos that are not on my regular YouTube page? Would you like to have live co-working sessions where we all work on our own projects and chit chat on Zoom for an hour a week or a month? Would you like to have one of my Brave Art and Wellness workshop sessions once a month? What would be interesting to you, helpful to you? I would love to know, because I want to prioritize what matters to you. And I have some ideas, but please tell me, You can tell me in the comments. I'm also going to include a link to a survey. It's literally 3 multiple choice questions, just asking you to rank a couple things. So if you would be so kind, I'm going to put the survey link, I'm going to pin it as a comment underneath this post. Please take it. It will literally take you less than 2 minutes. It might not even be a minute, depending on how quick your brain thinks. I would love to have your feedback. Tell me what you want. I'd love to make it happen. And it will help give me some direction, because I'm realizing, even though I don't want my time to be limited, it is. This is real life. I have real kids. I have so many dependents right now. They feel like it feels like 13 children. And I am so invested in the community that we have here. And I know that so many of you are wanting more. You've been asking me for more. Help me focus and prioritize on what you want most, and let me know about it. And let's make something happen in 2025. Huh? What's that, Grace? What? Gracie said she wants you to like and subscribe so the algorithm likes me more. Thanks, Grace. You're so thoughtful.